In 1922, a horrific crime took place in a small, remote farmstead called Hinterkaifeck, located about 6 kilometers north of the village of Kaifeck in Bavaria, Germany. The crime, which involved the brutal murder of 6 people, still remains unsolved to this day, and it continues to intrigue both criminal investigators and paranormal enthusiasts alike. The details surrounding the Hinterkaifeck murders are as chilling as the eerie reports that followed in the wake of the crime. The victims of the Hinterkaifeck murders were the Gruber family, consisting of Andreas Gruber, the 63-year-old patriarch, his wife Kazilia, their daughter Victoria, and her 2 children, Kazilia, a young girl, and Joseph, a 2-year-old boy. The final victim was the family's maid, Maria Baumgartner, who had only recently started working for the Grubers. The family lived on an isolated farm deep in the Bavarian forest. The farm was known for its remoteness, far from the nearest town, which made it difficult for neighbors to visit. It was the perfect location for a crime to be committed unnoticed, and it would be this isolation that would make the investigation even more puzzling. It was on March 31st, 1922, that the tragedy unfolded. That evening, neighbors noticed that they hadn't seen the Grubers or their maid for several days. The maid Maria, who had been staying with them for only a few days, was found in the attic. All had been killed within a short time span, and there was no sign of struggle. The horror didn't end there. The most chilling detail of the crime was the discovery that the murderer or murderers had remained on the farm for several days after the killings. The police later discovered that, for at least 3 days, the murderer had stayed on the property, feeding the animals, using the house, and even making use of the family's food supplies. The killer appeared to have lived in the house as though it were his or her own, without a hint of fear or urgency to leave. The crime scene was disturbingly untouched. No valuables were taken. No evidence pointed directly to a robbery gone wrong, and yet everything indicated that the killer knew the family well. They had free access to the farm, and it seemed as though they had been allowed entry. In fact, the family had even reported strange happenings in the weeks leading up to their deaths. Just before the murders occurred, Andreas Gruber had confided in his neighbors about odd occurrences on the farm. He had claimed to hear strange noises in the attic, and had even discovered footprints in the snow leading from the woods to his house, and then vanishing.